This afternoon, sports fans and supporters of SWAC football patiently waited to hear the conference's decision on the 2020 season. Last week, rumors swirled that it was going to be canceled. Our sports director, Mo Carter, has official details on the conference's game plan.
Following the cancellation of fall sports by the CIAA, SIAC, and MEAC, many HBCU sports fans thought that the SWAC may follow suit and cancel all of its fall sports activities for the upcoming academic year. But this afternoon, the conference called an audible. During a meeting that lasted about 90 minutes, Dr. Charles McClellan, the SWAC presidents, and the athletic directors decided to postpone the fall sports season of 2020 due to COVID-19. Those sports, which include women's cross country, women's soccer, women's volleyball, and football, will now be played during the spring of 2021 in a smaller format. A finalized format on scheduling is still being prepared for most sports, but in football, we do know that each school will play 6 conference games and have an option of adding a 7th non-conference opponent if they choose. Alabama A&M football coach Connell Maynor and his staff are pleased with the conference's decision.
It's just too dangerous right now, and I think it's in the best interest of everybody, and I think it was a good decision. You know, hopefully by January, this thing will be dialed down a whole lot more. We got a vaccine maybe, and we can really play some good football.
Coming up later in sports, Coach Maynor will explain his approach to playing games in the spring of 2021. Putting the Valley first, I'm Mo Carter for WZDX.